How are we doing out there, everyone? Happy Friday. Um, Thank you guys for those of you that were participating this week in our Metabolic Jumpstart Challenge. We made it through the week. Today was day 5, and today I'm just going to briefly review NEAT. So NEAT is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You can head over to my main Facebook profile to see a post about the details of NEAT, some of which were included in the email that came this morning. But if you didn't receive it, you can head over to my profile. There's a summary there. But NEAT is something that can make a huge impact in your overall health and fitness. And this is something that in my clients who have had the most success in their fitness and nutrition journey, addressing this particular area has been a game changer for them. I'll share just a little personal insight from myself. During the pandemic, my job changed a little bit, and I was significantly more sedentary throughout the day than I was previously. I was working more hours. So at the time I was working part-time for the health department, bumped up to full-time at the health department, and it was sitting all day, locked into my computer. Outside of that, not much was changed. I was still running, probably 4 days a week, doing at least one spin class a week, some strength training. So nothing really changed outside of that simple thing of being very inactive during the day. So I would say over the course of probably the last 2 years, but probably more so even in the last year, without that added NEAT, that kind of, non-exercise activity, that movement through the day, that getting steps in, my weight creeped up. So, I would say probably since July or so of 2020. And listen, I do this for a living and I coach people how to not let this happen. But, I've gained probably 15 pounds. And it's frustrating, but at the same time, I know what it is, and I know why. Because really, most other things have stayed the same. And even then, at that point, yesterday we talked about sleep. I was struggling a lot with sleep, even then, and my sleep is so much better. But so that's really been my focus for the last month. Is to really pay attention to that, and practice what I preach in that sense. But I feel like just seeing that happen within myself makes it even more important for me to share with you and to share with my clients that this is so important. So real quickly, I'm just going to go over what it is. So we have our total daily energy expenditure, and that's basically our metabolism. I have it written down here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it because of this weird light, but anyway, it's made up of our basal metabolic rate. That's our resting rate. We can't really change that much. Sort of what we're born with, the metabolism that we're born with. The thermic effect of food. So that's how many calories you burn to digest the food that you take in. We talked a little bit about this on Monday because eating more protein takes more energy to break down and utilize in your body. It actually burns more calories to digest protein. The thermic effect of activity, so that's your exercise. So obviously we can exercise a little more, exercise a little less, but overall, that doesn't change a ton. And then that leaves us with NEAT. And so NEAT, again, is that non-exercise activity, kind of purposeful movement throughout the day. So I talked about in the post, things like parking further away, things like moving, like let's say you're taking phone calls at work, maybe you're working from home, just pacing, walking during the call. Maybe it's randomly throwing in, 10 squats or 10 push-ups. There's so many ways that you can increase your NEAT, but I encourage you to really take a look at this, because it's very important, that movement throughout the day. Even if, like, let's say you spend the morning, do a 30-minute run or a 30 or 45-minute spin class, that's great. But if you sit all day, okay, that the workout doesn't cancel out the need for movement throughout the day. Super important to understand that. So that 6 a.m. spin class does not get you off the hook for movement throughout the day. I wish it did, but at the same time, you'll feel so much better if you're getting, sporadic movement throughout the day. So it's a pretty easy concept to understand, not always as easy to implement, especially for those of you that may be working from home. Maybe when you were in the office, you'd walk somewhere, you'd go up and down the stairs, walk to someone else's office, maybe you'd have the opportunity to run errands. Maybe you commuted and you had to park from the train or the bus. A lot less opportunity to do this when you're at home without thinking about it, without making it more purposeful. So consider that. Consider that as you look at your activity level throughout the day. So quick summary of our week. Monday, we talked about nutrition, getting more protein. Tuesday, we talked about exercise, getting strength training in and how important it is to get your strength training in. Wednesday, we talked about stress and how important it is to manage stress, but maybe just taking a minute or two out of your day to do something that is stress relieving for you. So you don't need to start a yoga practice of 3 times 30 minutes. Like, take 1 or 2 minutes each day to work something stress reducing in. Day 4, we talked about sleep, and specifically about taking a look at your sleep environment and how conducive that is to good sleep. And then today, like I talked about, we talked about NEAT. So those 5 things, if you can work these in, I can guarantee you, you will see some positive changes in your overall health. For those of you that are looking for a little bit of a deeper dive, registration is open for my Way to Win Weighted program. It's a 6-week program where it's a group coaching program. You'll have the opportunity to meet. We do live Zooms, and it's really an opportunity to have more personalized accountability. We go deeper into all of these subjects throughout that 6 weeks, and we have an onboarding week on the front end and an offboarding week on the back end. So it's really, you're with me for 8 weeks. I'm only taking 15 people. I will drop the link here. You're probably going to hear about this over the next week until we start, but things will be business as usual as well here in the group. So Monday, we'll start with our weekly challenges as well. So that will always continue. Even as I have my paid coaching program, I will always have free stuff in this group to help you guys on your journey. If you have questions, you guys know where to reach me. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you soon.